Hi, good morning to everyone. In the last class, I explained the theories of light. First one, Newton corpusculus theory. Second one, Huygens wave theory. According to Newton's theory, the scientist Newton assumed that light is propagating from the source in the form of teeny particles like corpuscles. Also, second assumption is the velocity of light is more in denser medium than in rarer medium. Third one, light is propagating in rectilinear motion or rectilinear propagation. Again here, the limitations of Newton theory means Newton's theory is applicable only or to explain the law of rectilinear propagation. Second one, law of reflection. Third one, law of refraction. And the same theory cannot explain how the velocity of light is more in denser medium than in rarer medium. Second one, this theory cannot explain the interference of light, diffraction of light, as well as polarization of light. So the latter, the scientist Huygens introduced a new theory which is called as the Huygens wave theory. According to Huygens wave theory, light is propagated in the form of only mechanical waves. Light emitting from the source in the form of mechanical waves. Mechanical wave means it is a wave which requires a material medium for its propagation. Compulsory, the wave propagation requires a material medium. Even though there is a large empty space between sun and earth, the light coming from the source and at the same time it will reach the earth. But here in between sun and earth there is a large empty space. So that's why the mechanical wave, light is traveling through the medium only in the form of mechanical waves. That's why the scientist Huygens assumed that in between sun and planet there is a hypothetical medium which is called as ether. Ether is a medium which is highly elastic and less density. Also, in case of mechanical wave, speed of the light V is equal to speed of the mechanical wave is equal to square root of E by rho, where E is equal to elasticity of the medium. Elasticity or modulus of elasticity. Rho is equal to density of the medium. In case of ether, it is highly elastic means E is more. In case of same ether, less density, rho remains very less. That's why velocity of the light will be more or will be high in ether medium. It is highly, very lesser denser medium when compared with the remaining mediums. That means he assumed that velocity of light is more in rarer medium than in the denser medium. Denser means, if the medium is denser means it has high density. High density means velocity will be very low. These are the assumptions in Huygens wave theory. But this theory can explain all the interactive properties of light like rectilinear propagation, law of reflection, law of refraction, interference, diffraction and diffraction. But this theory cannot explain the law of polarization of light. This property of the light is not explained according to Huygens wave theory. Right? So in the same way, let us also discuss the concept of Huygens principle. So this principle states that each and every point on the primary wavefront act as a source of secondary wavelets. Here there is another parameter which is called as the wavefront. Wavefront means it is a point source. It is the locus which joins all the particles of the same phase. all these particles are having the same phase. This is called as the wavefront. After time t seconds, it is the another wavefront corresponding to the same source. That means a spherical wavefront always produces, a plane point-wise source. A point source always produces a spherical wavefront. And again, let the same source is kept at infinite distance, that will produce a plane wavefront, and the linear source like tube light, that will always produce a cylindrical wavefronts. That means types of wavefronts. Wavefronts are of three types. First, spherical wavefront. It is produced by a point source kept at finite distance. Second one, plane wavefront. It is also produced from the same point-wise source kept at infinite distance. Third one is cylindrical wavefront. It is produced by the linear source like a tube light. But here it is remembered that in case of plane wavefront means, let the source is kept at infinite distance, means the light rays from the source, they are assumed to be almost parallel or paraxial light rays. In these paraxial light rays, the nature of the wavefront is plane. It is a plane wavefront. And after some more time, we will draw the another wavefront which is also called as the plane wavefront like this. Each and every point on this wavefront have the same phase, and the phase difference between any two points is 0. It is remembered that the light rays are always perpendicular to wavefront. It is a point-wise source. Here also the light rays coming out from the point source may be moved along this direction. This light ray is perpendicular to the wavefront. It is also perpendicular to the wavefront. That's why the light rays are always perpendicular to wavefront at any instant. That is one very important situation. Next one, how do we construct a new wavefront after a time of t seconds? Suppose here S is a point source and this is a primary wavefront at any instant. It is a primary wavefront, spherical wavefront. This is a part of the spherical wavefront. On the spherical wavefront, let us consider some points like A, B, C and D. Here, these are the 4 points. From this instant, distance traveled by the light S is equal to V into T after a time t seconds, where V is equal to speed of the light in the medium. Suppose this S is equal to V into T, say it is 10. Let this distance traveled by the light is taken as the radius and draw a circular arc around each and every particle on the primary wavefront. Let here A is taken as the center of the circle and draw a circular arc whose radius S is equal to Vt. Similarly, around B, it is the circular arc. Around C, this is the circular arc. Around D. Now let us draw the common tangent. This common tangent indicates the new wavefront after time of t seconds. This new wavefront is also called as the secondary wavefront. Here A, B, C and D, these are the different points on the primary wavefront. According to Huygens theory, each and every point on the primary wavefront act as the source of secondary wavelets. These secondary wavelets are travels in forward direction always. So this is the construction of the secondary wavefront. It is secondary wavefront and this is called as the primary wavefront. So next one, how do we verify the laws of reflection and laws of refraction using the same Huygens principle? Right here, laws of reflection. Laws of reflection. These laws of reflection can thoroughly explained in the concept of geometrical optics. So see here only some parameters. This is the reflecting surface like a mirror. A ray of light is incident along this direction. This is the incident light ray. Let the incident light ray after incident on the mirror at the point A, it can be reflected like this. This is called as the reflected light. At the point of incidence, let us draw a perpendicular on the surface. This is the perpendicular line. This is incident light ray and this is reflected light ray. The angle made by the incident light with the normal, it is represented by I, where I is known as the angle of incidence. Angle of incidence. Reflected light also makes some angle R, and R is known as the angle of reflection. Angle of reflection. Let here PQ is the surface of the reflecting medium, and this is the incident light ray and this is the reflected light ray. Incident light makes an angle I with the normal. Reflected light makes an angle R with the normal. That's why I is equal to angle of incidence and R is equal to angle of reflection. Now, the loss of reflection is angle I is equal to angle R. This is the first law. Means angle of incidence is always equal to angle of reflection. Second law is incident light ray, reflected light ray and normal drawn to the surface lies in the same plane. That means all these three, they are lies in the plane of paper as shown in the diagram. This is called as the second law of reflection. So what are the laws of reflection? First one is angle of incidence is equal to angle of reflection. Incident light ray, reflected light ray and normal drawn to the surface all are lying in the same plane. These two are called as the laws of reflection. Second one is law of refraction. Laws of refraction. Refraction means this is the reflecting surface of the medium. PQ is the surface of the medium. A light ray is incident on the surface along this direction, and at the point of incidence, this is the normal drawn on the surface. Angle made by the incident light with the normal is equal to I. Here, the light ray below the point P, below the surface PQ, there is another medium, transparent medium, and this is also transparent medium. It is medium 1 and this is medium 2. Let the light is traveling from one medium to another medium, compulsory velocity of light will be changes. Let the upper medium is rarer and lower medium is denser. When the light is going from rarer medium to denser medium, the refracted light is bending towards the normal. So this is the actual direction of the light. But on changing the medium and from rarer to denser, refracted light must be bending towards the normal. So at this point of incidence, the light is bending maybe towards the normal or away from the normal. The property of bending of the light ray at the surface of the medium is known as the refraction. This is called as refraction. This is incident light and this is refracted light. Angle made by the incident light with the normal is I. Angle made by the refracted light with the normal is represented by R. That's why I is equal to angle of incidence. I is equal to angle of incidence and R is equal to angle of refraction. I is equal to angle of refraction. Also, in the first medium, refractive index of the first medium is equal to mu1. Refractive index of the second medium is equal to mu2. This refractive index concept also discussed in the concept of geometrical optics. Only remember these 2 points. Mu1 is the refractive index of the first medium, mu2 is the refractive index of the second medium. Velocity of light in the first medium is equal to v1 and in the second medium is equal to v2. Right? Now, the first law of refraction is Snell's law. Snell's law of refraction. According to Snell's law, the ratio between sine of angle of incidence to sine of angle of refraction is always equal to sin I by sin r is equal to constant, it is also equal to sin I by sin r is equal to mu2 by mu1, where mu is the refractive index, and this is also equal to v1 by v2, where v1 and v2 are the velocities, mu1 and mu2 are the refractive indices. Ratio between these two velocities remains constant. This is called as Snell's law of refraction, first law. And second law is incident light ray, refracted light ray, and normal drawn to the surface, all are lying in the same plane. This is the second law of refraction. Snell's law is the first law, this is the second law, right? These two laws means laws of reflection and laws of refraction. These two are explained using Huygens principle. It is one very, very important Huygens principle. So, according to Huygens theory, first one, proof of laws of reflection. Proof of laws of reflection. Suppose this is the reflecting surface. It is the reflecting surface. Now, a light ray is incident on the reflecting surface. A parallel beam of light means this is a parallel beam of light. It is incident. Parallel beam of light means source is lies at infinite distance. A parallel beam of light is made to incident on the reflecting surface like this. First one, this light ray is incident on the surface at the point A. Again, draw a perpendicular line means from the point A on this line draw a perpendicular line. This means this is the plane wavefront which is incident. It is the wavefront of the light incident on the given surface. Plane wavefront. Suppose this is the first medium. Velocity of light in the first medium is equal to v. Let the parallel beam of light is maybe moving along this direction, and at this moment AB is the plane wavefront. So suppose the light ray from B, which is also incident on the surface at one point, such that this is the distance traveled by the light. It is the distance traveled by the light. Let us construct, after a time of t seconds, let us construct a new wavefront. According to Huygens theory, this is the plane wavefront, Suppose it is a plane wavefront. According to Huygens theory, each and every point on the primary wavefront act as the source of secondary wavelets. And after a time of t seconds, distance traveled by the light S is equal to Vt. Vt is taken as the radius and draw the circular arc around each and every particle. Now, a common tangent is drawn such that this common tangent indicates the position of the new wavefront after a time of t seconds. This is called secondary wavefront. In the same way here also, in the first medium, speed of the light is equal to v. Distance traveled by the light in a time t seconds is equal to s is equal to vt. This is taken as vt. Vt is taken as radius and draw a circular arc from A as well as from B. From B, this is the circular arc. Maybe it is the circular arc. From A means light is going into the same medium. So, from this point, a circular arc is drawn like this. Okay, na? It is a circular arc. Now here, a common tangent is drawn. This is the common tangent on both the wavefront. This indicates the new wavefront after time of t seconds, which is equivalent to this is C and this is D. So CD is the new wavefront. So BC is the distance traveled. This is the circular arc which is equivalent to V into T. In the same time, the light from A, it is also traveled like this. It is the radius. It is also equivalent to V into T. Therefore, this light ray will be reflected from A and is moving along this direction. This is called reflected light ray. After incident at C also, the light will be reflected like this. This is the reflected light. It is the reflected light. Now here CD is the perpendicular line, you know. Here this is angle 90 degrees. At B is also this is 90 degrees. Because incident light ray is always perpendicular to wavefront. This reflected light ray is also perpendicular to wavefront. Perpendicular to wavefront means this angle is equal to 90 degrees. At the point A, this is the normal drawn on the surface. It is the normal N. Angle made by the incident light with the normal is equal to angle of incidence, which is equal to I. Suppose here this is A and this is B. Angle between A and B is equal to 90 degrees, and this is the normal drawn at the surface. This angle is equal to I, and this angle is equal to total angle 90. So this angle should be equivalent to 90 minus I. Now again, normal is also perpendicular to the surface. This total angle is equal to 90. That's why this angle is equal to I. So the line AB makes AC by an angle which is equal to I, and this angle is equal to 90 minus I. Right? So angle between AB and AC is equal to I. Similarly, this is the normal drawn on the surface at the point C. The reflected light makes an angle R with the normal, which is called as the angle of reflection. This CD is perpendicular to this reflected light. So this angle is equal to, it is 90 minus I. So therefore this total angle is equal to R. Right? So here it is the line from C. CD is the perpendicular line. And this is the normal drawn at the point C. Normal line. Angle made by the reflected light with the normal is equal to R. CD is perpendicular to this line, this total angle is equal to 90. So this angle is equal to 90 minus R. N is also perpendicular to surface. So this angle is equal to total angle 90